have a conversation.
We decided to take the streets and let everybody know that we were here. We just did a loop. We sat in each street corner, maybe held up a little bit of traffic, but we wanted to let everybody know that the beginning is near. Thank you.
What I'm going to show you guys is what we're calling Squatters Paradise. It's sort of the de facto center camp of the community.
Now we got some shelving over here. Obviously, we got our tent over here, and we also got these tarps that a wonderful handyman who has been doing a lot around here, Justin.
That's amazing.
Justin's like an angel. Anyway,
just in time.
Just in time. He made sure that the tarps encompassed other tents over here, and so the water would drip down. Basically, just to make sure that we all can be much more comfortable. Like, he's always watching over us, and everyone likes to help him out.
Yeah, he is.
This is my first protest, and the only thing I really have, I guess, to bring is skills in construction labor and stuff. Bring it down to the basic points. You got to know what you're doing in order to build something, because there's elements out there. You got the wind that's been knocking our tarps off all day, but in actuality, like, it's not about the wind, it's about the human sacrifice that we're willing to give up to become one. There's people I've never seen that are just starting to build stuff out there because they see what's going on. They're donating like crazy right now because the wind's knocking our asses out.
We're not camping, no, we're just bringing stuff every day. Tarps and rain ponchos.
Do you have
and a little bit of food and some boots.
Lots of people have come by and dropped off various clothing items and things. From what I've seen, it's just everybody who supports what's going on here. Those same people or other people are bringing by food for people to eat.
People have been donating like pots and pots of soup. So a pot of soup will come in and like be here for 5 minutes before we fit it all up.
Okay, this guy's giving $20 for donations. Who could top that?
We appreciate it. We all appreciate it. Thank you.
Good luck.
Awesome. Food Not Bombs is an external organization that feeds vegan and vegetarian meals to whoever needs them. We're setting up food for Occupy Vancouver and trying to feed the masses that are out here camping out.
Delicious.
We brought our 4 sleeping bags, and we're gonna all 4 sleep in one. We may put her in her own because she tends to sleep in circles.
Roll.
Anything
that you guys need? He basically said they would find us a spot and put pallets there for us and set us up so we could be comfortable. I think it was the main tent committee guy. I forget his name, but he's very friendly.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for coming down, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
There's also free styrofoam grapefruit.
There's what?
Hot soup here, folks. Soup and rice. So good tonight.
And the rest will take place. So if you guys are interested, after this meeting, I'll be right there. We can talk about it. If you want to be part of the fact, that would be super. Thank you.
First public mayoral debate between the incumbent Mayor Gregor Robertson and Suzanne Anton, Vancouver City Councillor.
I think every great city in the world has defining moments. For Vancouver, certainly Expo 86 and the Vancouver 2010 Olympic Games are 2 very good examples. So too, unfortunately, are the recent Stanley Cup riots and to a lesser extent, thankfully, the Occupy Vancouver movement. both of which greatly impact the small business community. How do you define the role of the mayor and as the top elected official in the city and the associated accountability of the mayor's office in these defining moments?
Yeah, thanks for the question, Ian. I take full responsibility for public safety in the City of Vancouver. We're getting very close to seeing the VPD move forward with the charges, and we will see the action in the courts. So,
Shut up! What we want to know is, can you call yourself a government if you can't feed and house the people? That is the only question that ought to be on the agenda.
Thank you.
Basically a run on the mayoral candidate debate. It was really successful. The mayor refused to answer any of her questions. Daryl went onto the stage and took the mic.
And I was not invited to this debate.
All the Occupy Vancouver participants were told that they didn't have a voice at the table and were removed from the room. So this is the first of many debates. We can do run on the debates every time they happen if you guys are into it.
Freedom of speech is fundamental to everything that we do. It certainly put an extra element into the debate.
When will that dialogue take place?
These tents need to go now. Gregor needs to come up with a plan, he needs to come up with a timeline, he needs to come up with a plan, and they need to be gone.
Without these tents, we have nothing. This is our only pull with the city. We are threatening the 1% with tents. As soon as these are out of here, we're a group of concerned citizens with absolutely no clout whatsoever. We have to keep this intact. This is a physical occupation.
Getting the lane to come through this way and connecting up over here, and then having this one come up straight through here, so that way we respect some of the community development that's gone through.
Right now, if something happened in the center, the firefighters couldn't even get in there.
For sure.
Hey, Chief, how are you?
Chris. Hi, Chris. Yeah, I bet you already.
Chris has been helping us out. We've been deciding where some fire lines are going to go and that sort of stuff. So I think we're well on our way.
Can I get one person to summarize what just happened with the fire chiefs?
Okay, the fire department has asked us to lay down this plastic here, creating the fire lanes straight through the tents and from the bus, the end of the bus, straight to the sidewalk over here, of 6 feet wide.
I actually find the request slightly unreasonable in an attempt to push us around and see how much we're willing to cave to their orders and demands.
I feel like we're sort of doing an us versus them thing and lumping fire, police, the mayor, everybody into just the man as if they are totally colluding behind the scenes, which might be the case, but I think we should think about these things on a case-by-case basis. So a fire lane is its own issue and should get proposed.
I don't think there really is any problem with complying with what the fire department wants.
Right.
And I think it can be passed on to Sean in the tent city, and it will be a done deal.
The fire department want to have fire access. Should there be, God forbid, an issue of tents bursting into flame, they want 6 foot wide paths, which would be wide enough to allow someone to leave at the same time as a fully loaded firefighter were coming in. This seems pretty reasonable. Obviously, it's a move that has, or a request, it's met with some resistance because the firefighters, maybe the front line of policing us right now. They're the eyes, right? They're watching us. Like, aside from the undercover cops, they're the most visible presence of the state down here, and they're certainly the ones who are going to be calling our conduct into question in an attempt to move us out in a soft, diplomatic way. Nobody really wants to see us get booted out by the jackboots, so I think the city's strategy now is going to be to try to slowly wean us out, and obviously fire hazard and sanitation issues are going to be the primary modes of attack there.
That'll secure our main pole just a little bit.
I understand the need for fire lanes, but at the same time, it's like we had something really good going. Like safety first, right? But like, now my home is destroyed. Yeah, and
These
fucking
hippies next door were really fucking loud during the weekend, and we had this huge shit show starting when we showed up, but then suddenly it's the weekend and they get to be fucking shit starters, so we had to yell at them a bunch of times to shut up.
People next door decided to invade our camp without any of us here, and they took down our half of the tent, and they pretty much blocked off the entrance to my tent. All my stuff is moldy because it didn't get aired out. There, dude, show them in there.
We still have to fucking drain this before we can do anything.
I feel like I'm bailing a boat. Quickly, before we sink, man! We're sinking into society's shithole, boys! This is like the squatter's right tent, the crusty punk's tent, Camp Bluegrass.
Dramatic change in the kind of attitude that's been going on here. Lately, it's been a lot more reading and smoking weed rather than drinking and getting drunk and falling over and being a ruckus, and that's been cut down a lot in the last few days.
We're just a bunch of good people having a good time. This is pretty much like camping, man, except it's actually for a good cause. Yeah, the people that just come here to party, they're not here to support the cause. It's like, no, it's not a rave, it's not a fucking party. Like, some people actually do want to be here to support the cause. Some people actually do need to be here. I'm here pretty much because it's like a safe place to camp, safety in numbers. I get to be happy and I get to, you know, have a safe place to sit. My doctor thinks I'm diabetic because all I do is drink crisp apple cider. I don't drink water. I got bad teeth, so I can barely eat half the time, so I rapidly lose weight. If I drink anything other than this, I puke.
How much cider do you think you drink a day?
Sometimes I can't even count.
Like 5 bottles? What do you
We're addicts as well. Like, we're all addicted to alcohol. Like,
can I ask, is that all you guys do?
Speaking for myself,
I drink beer and
I'm also a very responsible drug addict. I don't leave my paraphernalia anywhere. Like my mom.
She gets mad when people do.
Oh yeah, my mom worked for almost every needle exchange in the downtown east side. You know, I'm a pretty big Nazi when it comes to like rigs and stuff. I keep my rigs in a metal container in my backpack so that in case one of them does pop open, they're not gonna poke through or anything.
Staff are here for questions from councillors following the presentation. Dr. Bellum.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor and Council. We give you an update to allow you to feel comfortable that you know where we're going with this. In terms of fire safety, the tents themselves, where as the rain and the bad weather came, their close proximity and then the big super tarps that are being put over them create some significant issues. And so we implemented some fire lanes through the tent area. We actually have the power to require an emergency evacuation. And if we find that we aren't getting cooperation, we have the option of going to court to get an injunction. We are sticking to our key principles that underline how we're approaching this: health and safety, prevention of property damage, no tolerance for criminal activity, and basically minimizing undue dislocation of our residents, businesses, or other activities in the city. I would say so far our observation is that it's peaceful and cooperative. Council, we wanted to give you this update. We welcome your questions and any commentary that you may have for us in our work on this difficult file.
So we can give these ultimatums if we wanted to of a week, and they're kind of meaningless. It seems to me that the Occupy is, they're managing themselves. I just don't quite see how we would be going to court. I don't see the conditions there right now.
We have a sense that we would be challenged to find a reason for a court to take any action. They will examine, what is the risk, and health and safety, that's their first and foremost interest to both the protesters and the public. They will look for sure at evidence of property damage because that's of concern to them. They will look for evidence of criminality on the site. In other words, that's considered to be a harm to the public interest.
So we're going to go to Councillor Anton.
People are good, protest is good, but the tents are not, and they're causing a significant inconvenience. So there really is only one question, and that's to you, Your Worship. What is your plan? What is your plan?
Councillor Anton, these are questions for staff who've just made a very extensive presentation to Council on the current status of the Occupy Vancouver encampment. You may see this as an opportunity to politically grandstand, but that's I've been very clear with my position on the encampment to date. I have expressed my concerns about its ongoing presence there and the fact that it is in breach of the city's bylaws on encampments on that land. But we've been hearing from staff across the board here that many of those risks are being managed. And I do share, though, I think the ongoing concern of many councillors around the chamber here that this has a sensible and peaceful outcome.
I think we're done. Thank you very much, everybody.
Slapped him in the face a couple times, like when he wouldn't respond by going, "Wake up!" We usually do that and it creeps him out. Like, he didn't respond at all, and then we kept slapping him in the face really hard and he wouldn't wake up. Then his lips turned blue and he stopped breathing. So that's when we really freaked out. And my friend Boomer came in the tent and started giving him CPR, and me and my friend Liam, we were because he had his needle out, we put all the gear away because we knew there were going to be medics there. I went out to the medic tent and tried to get the medics. My friend Boomer kept screaming and trying to get other people to come around too.
I attended the emergency in the camp. When I arrived, I found a young man who did not appear to be breathing, did not appear to have a pulse. I initiated CPR after one full cycle, which is 2 minutes of CPR. I was able to detect a pulse at that time. Fire and rescue arrived. They took over assisting with breathing. Ambulance arrived shortly after that. They were able to revive him and take him to the hospital.
Just woke up, and I guess he was dope sick or whatever. He always needs somebody to hit him, get somebody to shoot him up or whatever. And my other buddy tried, and I used to use intravenous drugs years ago, and I could still do it, I guess, because I got him. I tried, and then he was fine, and 10-15 minutes later, he just kind of started going like that, and then wobbly, and then he just fell down in the middle of we were laughing, and in the middle of it, he just started getting wobbly and fell down. Feels like shit. I almost killed my fucking friend by helping feed his shot. That's the only reason I was in tears. Not only because he's a really good brother of mine type deal, but because I was the one that put it in his arm. I was the one that helped feed that monster that pretty much took him away.
Anything else? No? Okay.
This morning's incident, which has been attributed to a heroin overdose, demonstrates the requirement to enforce appropriate fire and life safety measures. Fire medics and ambulance paramedics had to overcome several obstacles to reach the patient, and there were propane tanks that were discovered within this enclosed area. To ensure the safety of the occupants in and around the tents, the following order from the fire chief will be issued, with compliance expected by tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. It's actually direct overhead tarps as canopies providing full visibility. and appropriate access. Identify for fire inspectors all the tents that are occupied, remove unoccupied tents, provide appropriate spacing between tents.
Please end this interview now.
The media released today a list of demands from the fire department.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not exactly
Who
how.
said that?
Who said that? CTV reported it online.
The mayor had a press conference with them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I was approached and requested to